lots of things being said in the background over here. I have bird chirps and I have cat meows. I'm in a veritable jungle. And while I'm in this kind of contrived jungle environment, I have been reading some articles and watching some videos, and apparently there are some scientists, some geologists who are saying that the volcano, Mount Helens, St. Mount Helens, is set to erupt. Now, it hasn't erupted in the last 44 years. And apparently, it's going to blow. And it's going to blow soon, according to the scientist. So first of all, let's go and take a look at that. Is Mount Helen really going to go and blow, erupt soon? That's going to be question number one. And another question I have too. I'd like to know, with this eruption, this St. Mount Helens volcano, rather, is it set to, is it natural? Is this volcano, St. Mount Helens, is this volcano going to erupt out of natural causes? Or is this volcano going to erupt because of human intervention? For instance, something like HAARP. You know, we can't discount the possibility of this, especially considering the fact that, well, you know, we are more and more obvious and yet more obvious in all of these military type of movements and maneuvers. So it's a fair question. For instance, I mean, it's one thing to have a catastrophe hit an area, and it's one thing for you to go and have a finger to point and blame and say, oh, well, this happened because of this country, this evil person. And it's an entirely other type of response when it's a natural cause. I mean, you can't be mad at a volcano. Or let's say you can't be mad towards a volcano perhaps as easily as you could be mad about a particular entity, such as a political entity or a national entity and so forth. You get the idea. But yeah, so those are the two questions we're going to explore. So first, let's go and see St. Mount Helens. Is St. Mount Helens going to erupt soon? Scientists say, geologists say, St. Mount Helen has been rumbling a whole lot. St. Mount Helens is activating after 44 years. St. Mount Helen is going to wake up with a bang. And let's go and see if is that true. Is St. Mount Helens going to erupt shortly? Knight of Swords, Two of Pentacles. Well, first of all, St. Mount Helens is rumbling and tumbling. Okay, I'm going to say yeah. 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 St. Mount Helens has been rumbling for a while in the energy that I see. Before it was sporadic, but I would say that St. Mount Helens has always had activity going on, but it was in spurts. Active periods, slow periods. And from what I see, Nine of Swords with Eight of Eight of Cups. This has been building up, building up, building up, building up. And now I would say, like before, what was like tiny rumblings or perhaps sporadic rumblings has actually been gathering more and more into more sizable, trackable, predictable type of movements. So the scientists are indeed right that St. Mount Helens is not only activated, I would say it's growing in strength. I would say that probably too the, what we call it, the vibrations, the seismic activities that are happening through or from this volcano, that it's been constant. I'm also going to say in this energy, and it's been increasing. So I would say too, this is probably something that they can measure and see quite clearly, probably every day or in an increment like that. Scientists are seeing greater and greater movement, stronger and stronger, more frequent movement, stronger movement. So yeah, it doesn't look good. Knight of Swords is our primary message here. I'm going to fold these back. Hello. Yes, and if you appreciate my time and energy in doing these readings, do give me a thumbs up. I know that the subjects are not necessarily when will my soulmate come, but they're important. I think they're important issues to explore, and I wanted to explore them together with you. So we have Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords for St. Mount Helen going boom, boom. St. Mount Helen has indeed, okay. I feel like there's something here on timing. Is it 3 years? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Maybe in a time period between the next 3 years to the end of the year. 6 months to 3 years. I know you could say, oh, that's a wide time period. I almost want to say a month here with that Ace of Cups energy, and also too a month with this sort of energy. But I also have Pentacle, Knight of Wands. You know, this is push and pull energy. This is slowly gaining in momentum, but steadily going. Knight of Wands is not so fast. King of Pentacles is not so slow. You know, this is like a period of time, but not that long. But I do say that in this overall energy of St. Mount Helen is increasing every day. Increasing, and the vibrations are getting stronger. That is no doubt. It's not like St. Mount Helen is just rumbling at like 0.1 on whatever scale they use, and they're running on 0.1 for a month, and then they go to 0.2 the next month. I say it's much faster and much stronger. Anyway, interesting. So yes, laughter of incredulousness. I have a knight. I have 3 knights here too, by the way. 3 knights. Well, knights are movement. So think about that too. I have 3 knights in this pull. I had a Knight of Wands. We have a Knight of Swords being our main message. We have a Knight of Pentacles. Missing everything but the Knight of Cups. But knights signify movement. We definitely have strong movement here. We have the 2 strongest and fastest and almost the most foolhardy type of energies here. This Knight of Pentacles with a Page of Wands is interesting, mainly because it's always been going in this direction. It's always been slowly and surely gaining in momentum, in speed, in that lava pushing forward. Even the fact that we have the bottom of the deck energy, or not the bottom of the deck energy, even the fact that third card clarifying our Knight of Swords is the Tower. Now, I still say also too that Knight of Pentacles being in here, Knight of Pentacles slows everything down. Otherwise, in this energy, I would say that, you know, expect something before the end of the year. In this energy, without a Knight of Pentacles, I would say expect something before the end of the year. Knight of Pentacles slows it down a bit. Slows it down. Not much, but it slows it down. So that's why I say 6 months to 3 years, but I say it's definitely going to blow. I also want to call out the fact that we have a Knight of Swords and we have the Page of Wands. Both of these energies are actually the most concentrated court cards in their respective elements. Knight of Swords is an air out of air, nothing to stop it, nothing to hinder it, just pure swift action. It's go time. Also, too, nothing to stop or hinder a Page of Wands from initiating. There's nothing to stop this movement. This movement is like an avalanche that's going to boil up and go boom. So anyway, that answers the first part of the question. Is Mount Helen going to go kaboom soon? Yeah, Mount Helen is going to go kaboom really soon. As I said, I could almost say within a month or something like that, something really fast. But I do feel that we have energies there that temper it a little bit, not much. All the other energies that are surrounding the energies that would temper the time are all go time. But I say it's going to happen. I agree. It's going to happen real soon. Real soon. As I said, it could be up to before this year ends. Could be shortly after the year ends. I say 3 years as the longest time. I mean, I could pull on this later, but I see this being sooner rather than later, closer to now as opposed to closer to the end of 3 years. St. Mount Helen. And I do feel like that boom is more like months than years. I'll say that as well. I gave the timeline of 6 months to 3 years, but I feel like the timeline overall is more in months than years. And of course, we have 12 months before we get a year. Let's go and see, though, now with the second part of the question. Is this natural or is this artificial? Is this contrived? Because, again, it's hard to be angry at a volcano. It's hard to be angry at an act of God, as the insurance companies like to say. Was this caused by an act of God or not? Five of Cups. 5 of Pentacles. Queen of, or Empress rather. Well, I think a couple things are going on here. Gee, what really cold energy, though. Oh, that feels nasty. Very nasty. This is cold energy. Not nice energy. What I'm feeling here for it being artificial or natural, the basis of it is there was a fracture that they I say it's a combination of both, because there's something that was already happening here. There's something that's happening here with, excuse me, this has been naturally coming up, the volcano. But I would say that the volcano has definitely been getting a push, an artificial push. The fracture was already there in terms of the volcano building up and building up. And I do feel like there is an external influence that is exasperating that, enlarging that fracture. It's a vulnerability point, and they can magnify it. So I'm going to say, primarily, this is a phenomena that's been generating and happening, but I do think it's getting a little help to be sped along. That's what I see here. All right. I'm going to say this is definitely a creepy reading. Creepy energy. Cold energy. Nasty energy. Well, I will end this reading on a positive light. Do you know that yesterday a whole bunch of meteors went by? And do you know that a couple of those came down to Earth? They formed tornadoes. And the energy of those tornadoes were actually on the same megahertz scale as our brainwaves. Isn't that interesting? And some people, you may have felt either one or two things. You may have felt very invigorated. You may have had some breakthroughs. Or the other side, maybe you felt very drained and tired. But that's all because of where the meteor shower that we had. Some of those meteors did fall down to the Earth's atmosphere, did break through to the Earth. Earth is ozone. And the vibration that they caused was exactly the same as, isn't that interesting, as our brainwaves. So you can think about that. How did you feel yesterday? Do you recall how you felt yesterday? Were you given moments to absorb that? How do you feel now? You know, whenever anything happens, it's not like it's just that one push and that's that. It's an ongoing thing, right? It ripples. Everything has a ripple. Even thought has a ripple, which means this has a ripple. Anyway, something to think about. And if you appreciate my time in putting together this video, do give me a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think St. Mount Helens is going to go and blow after 44 years? Do you think it's going to go and blow soon? Do you think it's entirely natural? Many things to think about. Until next time, everybody. Bye-bye.